right, so we've talked about exponential growth. Now we need to talk about exponential decay. Exponential decay is going to have a very similar formula. We will still have A, our account, is equal to our principal times 1. And we'll still have that time t and a rate. The only difference with decay is we're subtracting. And we're subtracting our rate now. So let's practice identifying these features. So we have a base. So they want to know our decay factor. Remember, that's just asking you for the base of your function. So 0.70. The rate of decay, remember that's your difference from 1, so 0.30 or 30%. What is the initial value? Remember your initial value is in that P spot, that principal spot, 24. And again, they want us to evaluate. So we're going to say 24 times 0.70 raised to the 6th power. So we'll say 2.82. Again, remember to round to the 100th spot, that second decimal spot. A lot of times we're talking about money. Okay, so we round 2 decimals for money, and we'll round to the whole number for people. Okay, so this would be 3 if we were rounding to the nearest whole person, whole ant, whole animal, whole object. Go ahead and pause your video. We've worked on a few of these in previous videos and explanations. See if you can break down these problems for me. You can resume the video to check your answers. All right, look over your answers. See if you broke down each of those equations correctly. And then again, remember you can ask me questions on the Remind app if you're confused about any part of the notes that you're reviewing and practicing. All right, let's write an equation. So talking about a mice population, we still have an initial amount. We still have a principal. In the year 2000, that's fine, and it's decreasing. So decreasing is one of those keywords. Key begins with a K. Keyword for decay. By 20%, remember when we talk about rates, we have to change it to a decimal each year. So they want us to write an exponential equation for this. So we have A equals, that 1 is always there, and we don't know what time we're talking about yet because we're just writing the outline of the equation. My principal is 25,000 mice. It's a lot of mice. We're decreasing. So when we decrease here, we're going to be subtracting. And by a rate of 20%, so 0.20. How many mice will there be 3 years from now? So that time is going to be 3 years. Raised to the 3. And that tells us we have 12,800 mice. Since we're subtracting, and you can do it with addition too, you can simplify this equation very similar to how you see those examples up at the top. So as we look up at the top, we don't see the 1 minus. We could simplify this to 25,000 times 0.80 raised to the time t, okay? But that's going to be based on personal preference. Let's try another one. You bought a car in 2010, and you bought it for this much. So there's your principal, there's your initial amount. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it starts to depreciate. Depreciate is another keyword for decay. It's losing its value. Cars lose their value as soon as you drive them off the lot. It's depreciating at a rate of 10%, But remember, we have to change that percent to a decimal. So let's write this equation. A equals 1 to the t. Okay. Our initial amount was $28,000. And we see this word depreciates, so we're going to subtract. We're subtracting that rate of 10%. So then we want to see what the car is worth in 2020. Well, if I bought it in 2010, and I want to know what it's worth in 2020, that's a 10-year difference. 10 years have passed. So let's substitute. 28,000 times 1 minus 0.10, and we'll raise that to the 10. I get that the car will be worth $9,762.90. Well, it says 99,6323. So if I round it to the nearest penny, this is really 97.63. So $9,763. Let's continue with our examples. Go ahead and flip your page. Okay. Let's go ahead and practice this. So you purchased a stereo system for $830. There's your principal. It's your initial amount. It decreases, so there's that key word again, at 13% each year. So we want to change that rate to a decimal. Okay. Let's write an equation for it. So A equals 1. We don't know our time yet. So we start with 830. That's our principal. It goes first. We see this word decreases, so we subtract our rate. That rate is 13%, but we put in the decimal. And we want to know the value of the system 3 years from now. So $830 times 1 minus 13 raised to the third power. That's going to be $546.56. Let's go ahead and pause the video and practice these next two and check your answers when we. Now that you've resumed your video, go ahead and check your work. Notice that in number 7, we're talking about jobs. So we're almost talking about people. So you want to round that number to the nearest whole number, the nearest whole job. So that final answer should be 5,896 jobs in 8 years. Number 8 is a dollar amount for an iPhone. You can round that to the nearest hundredth. Please check the blog for the assignment that's due. Happy studying!